What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So last week we made a fairly outlandish statement that I want to become a millionaire by November 2026, which will give us 5 years to reach that goal. So in today's video we want to touch on the first point of this plan, and that is to invest in some dividend stocks. So today we're going to go through 4 points. Firstly, we'll discuss the pros and cons of investing in dividend stocks as opposed to other forms of investing. We'll then look at how many stocks I want to have in this portfolio and my reason behind it with the breakdown as well. We'll then thirdly discuss what broker I'm going to use and again the reason behind this. And finally, we're going to go through some useful Excels and websites that will help you if you're planning on investing in dividend stocks as well. So with all that being said, let's get straight on into today's video. So in last week's video, we constructed a very brief Excel here where we plan on getting to €1 million within 5 years, and we're going to start off with about 7 streams of income here. Now again, if you looked up any Millionaire videos, they have probably 10 to 15 streams, if not more, of income. So we're going to just start off with the 7 and slowly build it out over time. Now today we're going to focus on the third one here, dividend stocks. That's one where we kind of tried and tested already. Now if you've seen any of my prior videos, we had about 11 or 12,000 euro invested in dividend stocks not so long ago and made about 25% profit, which I was very happy with, which we sold for the real estate, which we'll be updating this amount when we get to the real estate video as well. But that's kind of the whole purpose of why we sold there initially, because we wanted to have as small of a mortgage as possible, which will definitely reap its rewards long term. Now certainly we'll be starting off with point 3 here, and with any form of investing it definitely has its pros as well as cons, which we'll have a very brief look at now. Now when it comes to dividend investing, in my own opinion, it has 3 main pros and probably 2 cons. So we'll start with the 3 pros here on the left. The first of these being passive income. Now again, this will take large amounts of investment capital to make substantial amounts of passive income. Now I did make a video, I think it was last year at this stage, but you do need a fairly substantial amount invested, a few $100,000, to be making about $1,000 a month on dividend payments. Now again, that totally depends on what dividend stocks you invest in and how they're actually performing as well. But certainly a main kind of pro here of any form of investing is that you can make some passive income from the dividend payments. Now again, you can either have monthly, quarterly, yearly, or even twice a year as well, depending on the frequency of the stock. For example, the likes of Realty Income would be a dividend paying a monthly stock, which is handy as well. Now it's worth noting, just because it's monthly doesn't mean you'll be getting more than a stock that let's say it pays twice a year. So you need to be kind of taking that in mind as well. But firstly, anyway, passive income is certainly one of the main pros of dividend investing. And the second point here, compounding effect, certainly ties in with the passive income as well. Now I always like to use the analogy of a snowball. Obviously, the more you have invested in a stock such as Coca-Cola, the more of a dividend payment you'll get, and reinvesting that compounding dividend payments over time, year on year, certainly will make a huge difference. And again, as the snowball goes down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger, accumulating more snow. So certainly that's definitely one of the main attractions of dividend payments, is because they are passive and also have a compounding effect. Now the third pro that a lot of people overlook is that dividend payments hedge against inflation. Now obviously if you had €100 today, it's going to be worth less this time next year. So these dividend payments will certainly help to hedge against inflation. Now we're kind of only briefly discussing these, but you can probably go into a lot of detail on inflation alone. But they're kind of the 3 main pros for dividend investing in my opinion. Now I'd love to know as well in the comment section below if you have any other pros or even cons for that matter of dividend investing, because obviously this channel is all about learning. So again, I'd love your input in the comment section below. Now there's kind of 2 main cons in my own opinion as well. Now blue chip stocks are certainly great for long-term investing. They are very sturdy and safe stocks, such as Coca-Cola again, or McDonald's come to mind here as well. So blue chip certainly is positives in most aspects, although it can be a bit of a con as well. And in terms of blue chip, that you won't be making substantial gains. For example, in terms of penny stocks, or if you buy a penny stock or Coca-Cola, obviously the gains will be a lot different, although the volatility will be a lot less in blue chip stocks. So again, that could easily be a pro as well, that most dividend or substantial dividend stocks are blue chip. And the second kind of con here as well is that returns are limited. Now not just because of the percentage gains of established blue chip stocks, but also because when stocks usually pay out dividends, they usually go down in value as well. Now they kind of recoup over time also. Now this could also be a great opportunity to dollar cost average, something that I'm a strong advocate for on my channel that I mentioned many times. But again, it was kind of hard to even find the 2 cons of dividend investing if you're a long-term investor. So they were kind of hard to even find both of those. Again, some of these mightn't even be cons, although kind of limited returns would be one of the main cons of dividend investing. Now, the second point I want to discuss today is what broker I'm using and why. Now, it's probably no surprise if you've seen any of my prior videos that I really like Trading212. Now, again, I'll put a link in the description below. If you sign up using that link, we'd both get a stock for free up to €100. Now, again, that's totally up to yourself, but certainly it seems a win-win situation for both sides of the party here. So again, Trading212 will be my broker of choice for dividend investing. Now, if you can even see on top here, there's still €20.83 in this account since I withdrew the 12,000 a few weeks ago. Now, that 20.83 was dividend investment payments from stocks I already sold. So it even shows that even when you sell stocks, you still make payments that were due to you. And probably on this account, if I looked in the history tab, we probably made about €200 or so in dividend payments, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. Although, like a lot of my stocks that I did have were growth stocks and weren't paying dividend payments. So I'm still quite happy with how it worked. Now, in terms of why I'm using Trading212, now firstly, I'm fairly used to this broker, that's probably the main point. And the second main reason is because you can buy fractional shares and you can also put into pie features, etc. as well. But the main one would be fractional shares. Now, this will make a huge kind of difference here, will make a huge difference, should I say, in terms of when I have a small amount of capital to invest, I can buy fractional shares instead of buying one full share. So that will certainly help in terms of dollar cost averaging when the markets are down in value, which inevitably will happen because markets are cyclical and different stocks react differently to different market conditions. Point 3 as well is what dividend stocks I will be choosing. Now, I probably want to have about 20 overall here. Now, again, there's no magic number. Some might say 20 is too much, some might say it's too little. But in my own personal opinion, I want to have 20 dividend stocks. Now, the reason I want to have 20 as well, we can see on the left here that there's so many different sectors within dividend stocks or any stocks in general, such as energy, materials, consumer discretionary, etc. all the way down. There's about 10 or 11 different sectors here. So in terms of different sectors reacting differently to different market conditions, I do want to diversify across different ones here to take advantage when any one of these sectors are down. Hence why I want to have about 20 stocks across all different sectors in the market. So what I'll probably do here is, because there's about 10 or 11 different sectors, I will probably choose 2 of the best dividend stocks or dividend aristocrats from each sector, or thereabouts. Obviously I need to have one in 1 or 2 of the sectors to make up the 20 overall, but that's probably the way I'm going to do it. For example, I don't want to have, let's say, 10 stocks from consumer discretionary on their own, so I do want to diversify it out fairly. So probably about 2-ish stocks per dividend, or per sector should I say, across all different sectors. Now, one of the other main features of why I wanted to choose Trading212 as my dividend portfolio is because of the pie feature. Now, one thing I find very nice here, or very handy, is that, let's say when I did input my 20 dividend stocks, when I actually pick them over the next week or so, it shows you exactly, well, historically, how much you would actually make over a given time, depending on how much you invest in. Now, obviously, historical performance doesn't necessarily mean future performance, but it's certainly good in terms of seeing where your kind of future projection could actually be. Now, in terms of how much I want to invest in dividend stocks, now overall, as I said at the start of the video, I want to have about €1 million net worth in 5 years' time. Now, obviously, a majority of that will probably come from real estate, but I would like to have probably a target of, let's say, €100,000 in dividend stocks. Now, that could easily change given what way we are over the next few years. But I roughly want to have about €100,000 invested in dividend stocks, and you can even have like a goal feature on these pies as well, where you can track your progress all the way towards your overall goal, and in this case it will probably be €100,000. Now, in terms of some useful tools or websites, if you're new to dividend investing, or even if you already have your own portfolio set up, you're probably aware of some of these already, but probably the main one is, probably without explaining, is Dividend.com. Now, Dividend.com is very handy if you are researching dividend stocks, no surprise there by the name. But for example, here, Realty Income, when you type in any dividend stock, you can see a lot of information for free here, such as the forward payout ratio, the years of dividend increase here, in this case is 27 years. Its dividend frequency, as you mentioned earlier, is monthly as well, and its average dividend payout is about 4.46%. Now, below here as well, we can see when their next dividend payouts, when their last one was also, etc. So again, it's a very useful tool in my opinion. Now, some other ones as well is, let's say, Yahoo Finance, Very handy here as well. If you're looking up anything investing related, it's very helpful. And also what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks as well, which I'll give to you guys for absolutely free, will be I'm going to set up a dividend Excel in terms of tracking your dividends, your dividend payments, how much you're actually going to make or projected to make based on how much you have invested, etc. as well. So they'll be very handy tools to use down the line as a dividend investor. So with all that being said, that's pretty much the end of today's video. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of my plans on starting or kicking off this 1 million euro 5-year plan. And the first way we're going to start this plan will be in dividends, which is probably the safest of all the options. So I just wanted to give a very brief update in terms of where my mind is in terms of what stocks I'm planning on buying, or kind of how I'm going to look into buying dividend stocks and how many and how much I want to have invested. So hopefully over the next few weeks we'll be making some updated videos on these dividend stocks or dividend portfolio to see what stocks I actually picked in terms of what 20 and my reasoning behind them as well. So if you made it this far, thanks so much for the support. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you all in the next video.